strikes on Iran's nuclear sites, the capture of Venezuela's Nicolás Maduro, pressure on Denmark over Greenland. Around the world, critics accuse the US of imperialism, extending power far beyond its borders. But imperialism requires an empire, just like capitalism needs capital. Is the US an empire? An empire governs vast peripheries. The British Empire was the classic example. The Great Britain ruled distant territories and peoples, from Canada, India, to South Africa. The US fits this pattern. During the Spanish-American War in 1898, it annexed the Kingdom of Hawaii and made it the 50th state. After the war, it acquired Puerto Rico and Guam, colonized the Philippines until 1946. More territories followed: the U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, and the Northern Mariana Islands. From this perspective, the U.S. has long been an empire since the turn of the 20th century. Today, it operates more than 750 military bases in over 80 countries, from Germany and Qatar to Japan. Imperialism is not only about hard power, it also involves soft power: Hollywood, McDonald's, and Taylor Swift. In the digital age, cultural influences flow through social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and X, all built in Silicon Valley. If the US empire and American imperialism are nothing new, the real question is, what comes next? In December 2025, the White House released a new national security strategy document. At its core is the Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine, or Don-roe Doctrine. To understand it, we need a quick rewind. In 1823, President James Monroe warned Europe to stay out of the Western Hemisphere, from North America to South America. In 1904, President Theodore Roosevelt expanded the Monroe Doctrine. The U.S. became the regional arbiter in Latin America. Then came a dramatic change. In 1917, President Woodrow Wilson argued the world must be made safe for democracy. U.S. foreign policy went global, from World War I to World War II, from the Cold War to Korea and Vietnam, from the Gulf War to Afghanistan and Iraq. Yet many interventions produced instability and unrest, the very outcome that President Wilson hoped to avoid. So, is Trump ending this era of global intervention since World War I? What is the U.S.'s new grand strategy? The principle is America first. The new strategy prioritizes national interest over intervention based on democratic values. That is normal for most states. The difference is how the border is imagined. Under the new doctrine, it stretches pole to pole, from the Arctic to Argentina. The Western Hemisphere becomes a strategic perimeter under U.S. hegemony. In rhetoric, it is America first. In practice, it shows America's thirst. This isn't just talk. This is already happening. On January 3, 2026, U.S. forces captured President Nicolás Maduro of Venezuela, who had been accused by President Trump of running a narco-state. Oil drew headlines, but geopolitics mattered. Maduro had maintained one of China's closest partnerships in Latin America. The raid sent a clear message. Rival great powers are not welcome in America's backyard. Greenland, an autonomous territory of Denmark, is located at the northern edge of the Western Hemisphere. Trump described it as surrounded by Russian and Chinese ships. He has been pressuring Denmark and its allies with tariff threats to gain greater access to the Arctic island. Canada also faces tariff threats after Prime Minister Mark Carney pursued deeper trade ties with China. Trump blames Mexico for drug cartels and fentanyl production, while expressing interest in reclaiming greater U.S. control over the Panama Canal, the region's most vital shipping route. In a nutshell, America First is about securing U.S. dominance in the Western Hemisphere, achieved by exerting influence over other states in the region, while warding off Russian and Chinese influence. If Trump's grand strategy succeeds, the result is monumental. U.S. total dominance in the Western Hemisphere, borders extended from pole to pole, nearly 1/3 of Earth's landmass. Coordinated policy blocks migrants and narcotics from entering the U.S. homeland from the south. Full control enables bolder moves, from rapid deployment of U.S. forces, expansion of the Golden Dome missile shield, to mobilization of resources in the Southern Hemisphere. The intervention in Venezuela shows us the advantages that hemispheric dominance can bring. In the recent U.S.-India trade negotiation, Trump leveraged U.S. influence over Venezuela to push Prime Minister Modi to shift purchases toward Venezuelan crude and U.S. oil, away from heavy reliance on Russia. This play serves to weaken the economy of a major adversary. But American ambition stretches far beyond. In the Middle East, the arrival of the USS Abraham Lincoln strike group projects power, following Iran's brutal protest crackdowns recently. The U.S. military presence forced Tehran back to the negotiating table, protecting allies like Israel and the Gulf states, and more importantly, American interests in the region. Meanwhile, Trump and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, publicly unveil glittering plans for post-war Gaza amid the Israel-Palestine peace effort. Skyscrapers, waterfront hubs, luxury reconstructions, with expansive overseas bases and military might. Cultural influences and emerging dominance in the Western Hemisphere, the U.S. wields unmatched leverage. Is this a new empire? Is the world now shaped by American imperialism? It all depends on your perspective. But a colossal global power is on the rise. What do you think? Please comment and hit like. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Thank you. Bye.